Hello, Mr. Swinger One here. Doing some interior work this weekend. And what we're looking at there is our original 70 Dart rear interior panel for the driver's side, back seat. It's a two-door hardtop. And this has come apart. There's the original door card. There's the back. So as you can see, this is in pretty bad shape. It could be cleaned up, re-glued, and maybe you could get on a heat gun and smooth the wrinkles out if you had nothing else. But what I did was I picked up a blue set off the internet, used. As you can see, they're dirty and they're blue, and there's no holes for a rear armrest. So this car didn't have rear armrests. Imagine that. So what I'm doing with that is I am taking black vinyl paint and I am making it black. There is a blue panel done in black and I drilled the holes for the armrests. So we're going to get this in the car. I'm going to see how it looks. I do want to say that the person who sold me the blue interior was very happy to sell them. He said nobody wanted blue, he can't sell the stuff. So I'm like, that's fine, I'm gonna paint it black. I am sorry to anybody out there that has a blue 70 Dart that needs a blue interior, but according to the guy that sold me these panels, you had your chance. But anyway, he sold me the panels for 125 bucks. I got both rears and the front door panels, very good shape, very good original Mopar panels. And as you can see with the Duplicolor flat black vinyl paint, that's 2 coats. This is how they turn out. Now, if it doesn't last, eventually maybe I'll get the Legendary interior door panels. But I did order the seat kits from Legendary, and it took 6 months, well, 4 to 6 months, I don't remember. I think I ordered them in March and they didn't show up till late September, so that's 6 months. Because I ordered them right after New Year one year, but we got into March till I ordered them, and I think it was 2 years ago, but it took a while. The stuff's sitting around in boxes. It wasn't cheap to redo a set of seats. Just the materials are roughly 1,500 bucks from Legendary, but Legendary is the best stuff for these cars. But the door panels, I'll bet you they're another 800 bucks. I'm not even sure. But I know when you order them, you have to wait. They don't have them. They don't ship them like the next day, nothing like that. You put in an order, you wait your turn, they make your stuff, and they ship it to you. Well, with upholstery anyway. Maybe the door panels are around, I don't know. But this is just an example of how you can save a buck doing these cars up. There's no reason to drive around one of these cars with no interior in it because the interior costs too much. There's things you can do. You can buy this cardboard at Lowe's. You can buy this cardboard here and get fabric and glue fabric down, make custom door panels. There's just no reason to ride around a car with a metal interior, no door panels, etc. But yeah, this is how I'm approaching it, and I'm going to get this one in the car and we will take a look at how it looks installed. Okay, so we're getting ready to install this panel. I'm sitting in the back on the hump. There's no back seat in the car. Got our our top panel there, our trim, a little bit of shot of the headliner, and the seat belts and stuff are in. One of the things I want to do is spray that channel down there with some white lithium grease. Basically lube everything up. There's a couple rollers there on that track. I'm going to lube them up because I'm going to close this up and I can't get to it. And it should be good to go. Hopefully, for the next few years. This is a classic car. It's going to get, driven to car shows, stuff like that. Summertime cruise night. We got white lithium grease, and the car's not going to be a daily driver. Why? Fuel economy for one thing. This thing will probably get 13 miles at a gallon. Alright, I don't know if you can See in there. There's like a track with rollers. Right there. I'm spraying that with grease. There's one on each side. Let me see if I can leave this in here while I spray it. Basically, that's it. You can see some old grease. This is white lithium. You can see some old grease there. This should help the window roll up and down a little bit looser. Let's see. Yeah, it feels a lot better already. Oh, light's hooked. Believe it or not, that little bit of lube made a big difference. The old window crank windows in these cars are always fun. Keeps your muscles in shape, just the way it was back in the day. Yep, this is the stuff you do. I mean, you can't just put the car back together and skip steps. You gotta service stuff as you go. All right, let's see. Yep, a lot better. All right, now the next thing we're gonna do, the factory, I don't know if you can see, the factory had a piece of plastic around here like a vapor barrier. I do not have, I didn't buy reproductions. What I did is I have a piece of plastic and I traced it around the door panel. And I'm just gonna put plastic on here and trim it down and stick it to the same glue. Actually, I have new caulk I can use. I have rope caulk. I can just put a new piece of caulk on there, stick my plastic to it, pop the panel on, and we're good to go. But that's the next step. All right, so we have our piece of plastic installed there, and we are going to go ahead and put the panel on, see how it comes out. We also have our door windlace there. There's a sill plate there. That's not screwed down yet, it's just sitting there, but we pretty much have the interior going back together. And it's a slow but steady process. It's turning out all right. I may have to trim a little bit more on that bottom edge, I think, but we will find out. Okay, so I found my armrests for the back. And I'm cleaning them up. The one on the top has like a film on it. It feels almost like, I want to say nicotine, like I would think like this car was a smoker, but I'm not saying that's what it is. That's just what it feels like. So I've been cleaning this one up, and I used soapy water, believe it or not, Windex, and Scotch-Brite. Don't be afraid to use Scotch-Brite on even vinyl stuff. There's a plastic base, and I kind of got a little shine on that using Meguiar's plastics. Now that's generally, people use that for headlights, but it's for any automotive plastic you can polish up. So this is real save a buck sweat equity type stuff. There is ways to do these cars cheap. This is one of the ways. It takes time, elbow grease, but I think when that's bolted up it's going to look good. And then another curious thing, like we said before, you know, this panel doesn't have armrests, so it's weird how those old cars, some of them didn't have armrests, others had armrests with ashtrays. So that's another thing. The ashtray comes out, and now's the time to hit that with a little metal polish, clean the inside of it out. It's not too bad. There wasn't too many people smoking in the back seat of this car back in the day. But yeah, just little tips how to clean stuff up. So like I said, I hit that with the Scotch-Brite to get that scuzzy film off. I still got to do the passenger side. I still got to paint the passenger side panel, clean that up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of cleaning, a lot of detailing, but it's all part of the restoration game. All right, that's what we got. Not perfect, but not bad for a car show cruiser. Those with a trained eye might see that I have the stainless strip at the top. The 70 Dart Swinger 340 came with black. I originally had the car, I have 3 black strips. The passenger side door was replaced and it had a silver strip on it. So what I ended up with is I have all 4 silver strips. I do not have 4 black, so I'm going to run with the silver. I think it breaks it up a little bit. It's not 100% original to this car, but it's it looks nice. It breaks it up. It's not just a straight black all the way through like it came from the factory. But there's a few things with this car where it's just never going to be 100% original, so I'm not pursuing that concours type nitpicky avenue. I'm just doing the best I can with what I got and on a budget. But yeah, that's not bad. And like if this paint fails down the line, I'll end up getting a legendary set of door panels. But right now, to get the car together, I believe this idea will work for now, and we shall see how long that vinyl paint lasts. All right, so the very first step is to clean it up. I got soap and water in a spray bottle. It's an SOS bottle, but it's just soap and water. I reused the bottle after I used the product up. So we're going to wipe our part down because paint doesn't stick very well to dirt. I will end up doing this twice, and I'm going to get I want to get the heavy surface dirt off it, and then I'm going to spray it again. Hit it with a scrub brush to get down in the cracks of the texture, and I'll do a final rinse with water. Then we're going to use an adhesion promoter that you should always use when you're painting plastic. Vinyl is a form of plastic. And then our final Duplicolor flat black vinyl fabric. Yep, it's flat black. They have a gloss and a flat. They do not have a satin. But yeah, I will. So I used a brush here, getting in between the cracks, because that's where dirt hides. Yeah, it's just soapy water up to this point. And then we're going to have to drill 2 holes for our armrests. What I did was, I laid the old door panel that came with the car, my original black interior, on top of this. Lined everything up, and then got the right size drill and just drilled down through. And that located the holes pretty much where they need to be. Like, you don't have to mess around with a tape measure, center line in the holes. You could do it that way, but you know, that takes a little bit more time. But yeah, it's cleaning up, as we can see. It's getting there. I may do this one more time with the soap, and I'll do a water rinse and get our adhesion promoter started. That's what we got. It's not bad. It's a shame my car isn't blue, but that's the way it was in the old days. Black was your neutral color. You had a black interior, you could paint your car any color, it would work. Blue interior was for a blue car, or maybe you could have white with blue, gray with blue, maybe silver with blue. But what you seen mostly back then was blue with blue. But yeah, that's ready. That is ready. We're gonna let that dry, and then we'll get some adhesion promoter on there. Okay, we have our adhesion promoter on. Think of it as a primer for plastic, but it's also recommended for vinyl, because vinyl is a plastic. And then we have vinyl and fabric paint, flat black. We're gonna go for it. I'm gonna put 2 coats on here. because if I have to buy another can, I will, but I'd like to be able to do all 4 panels with this can of paint. Most of this panel will be hidden behind the back seat, believe it or not. But we'll try and get every corner and cranny of it filled with paint. And then if it dries and I see blue later, I'll get more of this paint and I will get a paintbrush and I'll go in and I will brush on the paint and then wipe it in, kind of like Armor All. I don't think I'm going to spray in the car. I don't want to overspray anything. But yeah, there's always touch-up work after the fact. But we're trying to avoid that. So we're going in diagonal patterns. I probably got more than 2 coats of paint on it, but we'll let that dry. And we'll come back to it, see what we got. We'll drill the holes for the armrest. Okay, the final step in this, I have my old right side panel lined up, and then we will drill the holes in the blue panel turned black. Make sure everything stayed lined up. Feels like it. And now that should be our blue turned black door panel. Looks a little off, don't it? We'll find out when we get it in the car. But I believe it'll be alright. Alright, so here we have our painted blue panel next to our original panel that would need to be cleaned up. This one isn't in too bad a shape, but you can see that, you know, it's going to be alright. It's going to turn out acceptable. Actually, the painted panel looks a lot fresher, but I will admit the blue panels were in a lot better shape, and that's one of the reasons why I bought them. The Legendary Repro panels are nice, but if you can find a good set of original panels, that's the way to go. So I'm told. But yep, that's it. That's the interior work for this week.